What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive for COVID or any other virus, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long-term issues. It is time now for the Sunday Wastewater Update for Sunday, November 26th, 2023. Today we are just going to be looking at wastewater scan. We normally would also show CDC data. We can't this week because CDC data is delayed due to the holiday. I also did want to start off by showing something else, and this has to come out of Finland. This is international wastewater data. This is all pertains to wastewater, so I figured, what the heck, let's show this as well. And this was posted on Twitter by Used by 2022 Future. And they put Finland COVID wastewater is still soaring. And take a look at this. Take a look at this. Finland's wastewater, it's just rapidly going up. You can see it here. Not good. So it's something that we're monitoring. We're seeing several other countries where wastewater's rising rapidly, and we do know it's associated with JN.1 and BA2.86. Alrighty, if you're new to my channel, this is where we do the weekly wastewater update on not only just COVID, but flu, RSV, norovirus, Mpox, a whole bunch of different things. So we're going to use this wastewater scan site. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do every state. They don't have every state on here, or does the CDC at this point, because there's some states that just simply are not updating for some whatever reason. So let's start off here. We'll start off in the Northeast, work our way to the South, and then off to the West. We're just going to do a few sites in each region. Let's start off with the great state of Maine and see what's going on there. Already we can see COVID is coming in at high levels. RSV is low, and it's rising a little bit. It's a little leveled off now. Taking a look at influenza. Influenza's low, but it is starting to rise. No HMPV. Norovirus is coming in at high at this time, and there is some detection of hepatitis A. And take a look at this. No Mpox detection at this time. This is Portland, Maine. This is 65,000 population. All right, let's go over to New Hampshire. How about we come down to Dover, New Hampshire? We haven't taken a look at this site in quite some time. So for COVID, they're coming in high, and yes, it is slowly starting to rise again. RSV did rise throughout October and much of this month of November. It's leveled off a little bit, but it is in the high category. Influenza is low at this time, and really not much of an issue. HMPV is dropping at this time. Norovirus, it's medium and dropping at this time. No hepatitis A and no detection of Mpox at this time. Moving westward, let's see what's going on in Montpelier, Vermont. And in Montpelier, Vermont, this is not a big population. It's 10,100 people. Remember, Vermont's not a very populated state. They only have about 600,000 some population. And COVID, the overall trajectory once again is back upward. So this is not good. And it's already at high levels. RSV, wow. RSV, it's saying low, but it is rapidly rising at this time. That's going to quickly go to medium should that continue. Influenza is coming in low, but again rapidly rising. HMPV is now rising, and taking a look here at hepatitis A, none of that detected, and no Mpox detected either. Now let's come down to a bigger site, a much bigger site. Boston, Massachusetts, the big hub of New England. And let's see what's going on here. This is a wastewater site with 2.4 million people. So if we see this rising, it's not a good thing. COVID, they have it listed as high, and it is slightly starting to rise. I suspect in the coming week, post-Thanksgiving, it's going to probably rise much faster. RSV is dropping at this time, but it is coming in at high. Influenza is low but rising. HMPV, high here, and still rising. Norovirus is medium at this time. Taking a look at hepatitis A, there is some hepatitis A being detected, actually quite a bit of it. But what we are not seeing here is, take a look, Mpox. No Mpox is being detected at this time. Now coming down to, let's go down to Connecticut, shall we? And in Connecticut, what we see is COVID is high at this time and rising. This is a fairly new site down in Stamford, Connecticut. 140,000 population. We can also see RSV is high at this time and rising. Influenza, rising. Low. HMPV, low but rising. Norovirus is medium but rising. No hepatitis A and no Mpox at this time. Now for New York State, unfortunately, I cannot show you New York City. I can show you close to New York City, though, and we will in just a moment. Oswego, New York. Oswego, New York is high at this time for COVID, and it's rising. The overall trajectory is, most recent update is down slightly. RSV, rapidly rising. It says low. Don't think that's going to stay low should that continue. Influenza is low. HMPV has risen some, dropped on the most recent update. Norovirus, after a rapid rise, has now dropped slightly on the most recent update, but it is in the medium levels. Hepatitis A, one detection back on October 11th, and no Mpox detections at this time. Now let's come down closer to New York City and see what's going there. The best thing we can do, because I can't show you the New York City wastewater sites, and they're not updating on the CDC site anymore either. Don't know what the deal is. Maybe during the week, during a pandemic update, I could show you one of the sites on the New York State page. Maybe that updates. I'll look into it. Taking a look here at Newark, New Jersey, which is just across the Hudson from New York City. 1.5 million population. This is a big population. COVID is a medium at this time, dropping slightly. We'll have to see if that shall continue. RSV is high, dropping slightly. Influenza is also high, dropping slightly. HMPV is high, dropping slightly. Norovirus is high and rising. There have been detections of hepatitis A, but no Mpox detections at this time. Now coming down, let's come down here to southeast Pennsylvania. We can look at Chester, PA. Can't show you Philadelphia. Philadelphia will update on the city page probably within the coming weeks, so I'll keep my eye out for that and include that in the pandemic update. COVID here, Chester County, 220,000 population served. This is a decent sized wastewater site. You can see COVID dropping at this time. This is Chester, PA. I shouldn't say Chester County. Chester, PA is in Delaware County. Taking a look at RSV, it is rising at this time. Influenza was rising. Most recent update is down ever so slightly. There is hepatitis A detected. No Mpox being detected at this time. Let's do one more site in Pennsylvania. Let's go out to Harrisburg. And you can see Harrisburg, COVID's rising, RSV is rising, both are high. Low influenza, low HMPV, but for HMPV, it is rising. Norovirus is high, down slightly on the most recent update. That's after a big rise. Hepatitis A, just one detection back in October and one Mpox detection back in September. Continuing our way southward, let's come down now to Delaware. And in Delaware, we do see that COVID is medium at this time and is rising. And RSV is rising at this time as well. It's already in high levels. Influenza is low. HMPV is low. Norovirus is medium and rising. No hepatitis A, just one Mpox detection a couple months ago. Now let's come down to Washington and let's see what's going on in the Washington area. This should be a big wastewater site. It is. It's a fairly new site, new to wastewater scan, that is. 2 million population, COVID, the levels are not calculated yet, but what we do see here is, since the first update, it's upward for COVID, up for RSV, up for influenza, down for HMPV, up for norovirus, and none of the other viruses at this time are being detected. And taking a look, let's go to Eastern Maryland, Hollywood, Maryland. Let's see what's going on there. High COVID levels, dropping ever so slightly on the most recent update after a rise. RSV overall has been rising, dropping on the most recent update, still at high levels. Influenza is low, but rising. HMPV is low, not an issue. And norovirus is high and, wow, rapidly rising. No hepatitis A and no Mpox detections at this time. Continuing our way southward, can we do anything in Virginia? Yes, we can. We can come down here to Hillsville, Virginia, and see what's going on there. COVID is low, but rising. Should this continue? Medium levels may happen. RSV, very low. Influenza is low at this time. It's kind of bouncing around, though. HMPV low at this time. Norovirus, not much of an issue. It's low, and hepatitis A is being detected with no Mpox detection at this time. Continuing our way southward, let's take a look at Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's see what's going on there. And we can see COVID is low. RSV is high at this time, but dropping a little bit. We can see influenza is also high, wow, and rapidly rising. HMPV, not much of an issue. Norovirus is low at this time. And taking a look at hepatitis and Mpox, no issues with that right now. Let's go down to South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina. Let's see what's going on there. Greenville, at this time, overall trajectory for COVID is dropping. RSV had a rapid rise. Now it's actually dropping big time. Influenza, rapidly rising and continuing to rise. HMPV did rapidly rise, but now it's dropping ever so slightly. And Mpox and hepatitis A, not an issue. Continuing now, let's take a look at the Atlanta metro area. And how about we come down to the South River Water Center, and let's see what's going on there. And well, yikes, I'm seeing high across the board. 105,000 population. COVID high. Has dropped some, but starting to rise again. RSV is high and rising. Influenza is high, but dropping some. The good news is no HMPV issues right now. Norovirus is high and continuing to rise. Hepatitis A was some detection back in September, and monkeypox is not much of an issue at this time. I mean, Mpox. We can't say monkeypox anymore. Coming down here to Florida now. Let's take a look at two sites in Florida. First off, we can do East Orange County, which is near Orlando, and we can see SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus is dropping at this time. It's medium though. RSV, the overall trajectory has been up, so while there is currently a drop, the overall trajectory is upward and it is at high levels. Influenza is low at this time. HMPV low, but it is rapidly rising. Then we take a look at norovirus, and that is rising as well. No hepatitis A and no Mpox at this time. Let's do one more site. Let's go down here to near Miami, in Miami area, and let's see what's going on there. High COVID and rising. RSV was rising. Now it's starting to drop a little bit, but still high. Influenza, it's kind of leveled off after a rise. Low levels. HMPV is low. Norovirus coming in at high but dropping. Hepatitis A detected, and there was also some detection of Mpox back in October. All right, continuing our way to the west now. Let's see what's going on in Alabama. And in Alabama, we see high COVID levels, high RSV. Yes, and you can see here on these charts, the levels right now, RSV is actually continuing to rise. COVID's dropped some, influenza's low, HMPV is low. Norovirus is flat at this time, but it's leveled off at a really high level. There is some hepatitis A, and there is no Mpox at this time. Can we do anything for Mississippi? Yes, we can. This is some really good news. These may, in fact, be new sites. These are down by the Gulf Coast. Brand new sites, so I can't give you a reading, but stay tuned in the coming weeks. There are two new sites here. As more plots start to appear on the chart, we will be able to give you some more data from that. Let's go up to Memphis, Tennessee, and see what's going on there. In Memphis, Tennessee, we do see COVID is coming in at medium at this time, dropping some. RSV is high and rising. Influenza is low at this time. HMPV is low at this time. Medium for norovirus and kind of leveling off. Some hepatitis A detection and no Mpox at this time. And continuing our way back north, let's do a Kentucky site while we're at. How about Louisville area? Let's see what's going on there. Medium for COVID after a big rise, dropping a little bit. RSV is dropping a little bit. Influenza, high but dropping. Norovirus at this time, ever so slightly dropping. It's coming in at medium. Some hepatitis A detection, October going into November, or middle of October, and no Mpox at this time. Now let's come up to Ohio. We can do Akron, Ohio. How about that? Let's see what's going on in Akron. And we can see at this time, COVID, it's high. It's starting to rise again. RSV leveled off of the most recent update, but it's been rapidly rising. Also high. Low influenza, low HMPV. Norovirus is high and rising. No hepatitis A and no Mpox at this time. Now let's come to the west a little bit. What's going on in Michigan? We can do Warren, Michigan. Warren, Michigan at this time, COVID is high and rising. RSV is rising, high. Influenza low but rising. HMPV, not an issue. Norovirus is medium, starting to rise again. And then we come down here, hepatitis A, there was a detection, and no mpox at this time. Now let's come west to Indiana, then we will go up near Chicago, and we can come here to Carmel, Indiana, and we can see COVID, medium, rising. RSV, high, and wow, rising. I mean, it's been rising for some time. Influenza is low at this time. HMPV is low at this time. Norovirus, it's high and has finally leveled off. No hepatitis A or mpox issues at this time. Now, coming to Illinois, we can get close to Chicago. We can do Glen, Elwyn, Illinois, and we can see here COVID is high, dropping some. RSV is high. It was dropping some. The overall trajectory is upward, though. Influenza is low and close to medium, but it's actually leveled off a little bit. And HMPV is low, high norovirus, and still rising slightly. Hepatitis A has been detected back in October, and low mpox at this time. Now let's come out to Iowa and see what's going on there, and I do have to refresh the page. Apologies for this. This site does tend to freeze up on me sometimes. And taking a look at Iowa, we're just going to do one site. How about we come to Iowa City area and see what's going on there. This is probably a smaller site, 23,000 population. And what we see here is high COVID rising, low RSV, low influenza, low HMPV. Norovirus is high, and hepatitis A is not an issue at this time, or is mpox. Wisconsin, what's going on in Wisconsin? So we're in the central portion of Wisconsin here. 44,000 population, high COVID and rising. RSV is rising, influenza is rising, HMPV is rising, norovirus is high but dropping, hepatitis A and mpox not an issue at this time. Then we find ourselves in Minnesota. What's going on in Minnesota? How about we come up here near St. Cloud? And this is a site of 120,000 population, rising for COVID. Slightly dropping for RSV. Both are at high levels. Low influenza, low HMPV, low norovirus, and hepatitis A and mpox not detected at this time. All right, let's continue our way southward now. We're just going to skip down to Texas because we are running short on time. I don't like these videos to go over 20 minutes. And as for COVID, you can see at this time in Dallas area, it is starting to rise. RSV, it's high but dropping slightly. Influenza is low. Norovirus is high at this time, still rising. Hepatitis A has been detected, and no mpox issues at this time. Now we're going to come up to, let's go to Arkansas. We did not do anything in Arkansas, so we do want to do that. Arkansas is high at this time and rising ever. So slightly, actually no, it's rising pretty good. And RSV high, but it's really dropping. I don't know why that still says high. Influenza low. HMPV low. And norovirus is low at this time and dropping. Hepatitis A and mpox not an issue at this time. If we do miss any states today, look for them in the pandemic updates later in the week. Taking a look at Las Vegas. Let's see what's going on there. Las Vegas at this time is low for COVID, and it is continuing to drop. Look at that. That's a pretty rapid drop on the most recent update. We'll have to see if that's actually accurate. RSV is medium, dropping some. Influenza is dropping some. No HMPV. And norovirus dropping rapidly too. I'm suspect about all these rapid drops at this site. Hepatitis A was an issue back in late September. No mpox issues at this time. Now let's find ourselves in California. Let's do two sites in California. First off, what's going on in Los Angeles? Los Angeles, high for COVID. It did take a drop on the most recent update. Then we come to RSV. It was rapidly rising, dropping now. High RSV, high COVID, high influenza, dropping some. High norovirus, but still rising. Hepatitis A has been detected, and no mpox at this time. Again, any site that I'm showing you today could change completely when we do next week's wastewater update because of post-Thanksgiving. All right, taking a look here, let's go up to closer to San Francisco and let's see what's going on. And we see in Oceanside, San Francisco, 250,000 population. COVID is rising at this time, already at high levels. RSV was high, now it's dropping some. Influenza is low, and wow, that took a big drop on the most recent update. We'll have to see if that's accurate or not. HMPV, low at this time. Norovirus is now dropping. Hepatitis A was detected back in October, and no Mpox at this time. Let's just do a couple more sites. Yet again, the site has frozen on us. Let's see, can we do anything further north? Let's see. I cannot show you anything for Oregon, but I can get you close to Seattle, Washington, and we can see what's going on there. And let's see here. At this site, we do see that medium COVID at this time and dropping. High RSV. Influenza is low at this time. HMPV is low and dropping. Norovirus is medium and rising at this time. No hepatitis A, and Mpox is low at this time. And finally, today we're going to end on Idaho. I know we didn't do Colorado or the rest of the plains. We'll get to that later in the week when we do a data-filled pandemic update. RSV at this time, it's low. As you can see here, it's dropping. COVID is high, and that's continuing to rise. Influenza is low at this time. Low HMPV. Norovirus is high at this time, starting to level off. No hepatitis A issues right now. There was one back in October, and Mpox is not an issue at this time. Alrighty, guys, that does it for this week's wastewater update. Again, I know I missed some states or flew through some states. We'll do some more of these during the pandemic updates later in the week. Not the beginning of the week, but later in the week. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you got educated about the levels of viruses in your area, by all means, subscribe to the channel down below. Share this with anyone who you think needs to see this, and I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Sunday afternoon.